£13. £13.
Look at all the super I watches, lads. Oh my god, whiskey.
These socks.
They're the kind of socks I would wear.
That is so sad.
We're in duty free.
Oh my gosh, there's a frozen.
I've not been to duty free for so
I
long.
want these.
My brother has them.
I want them so bad. Colouring pack.
I used to love those ones, you know. Right, Vic, come here.
There's a frozen colouring.
You know the ones where they're black and then you put the pen over and it becomes rainbow. I used to love
I
them.
hate the scratchy ones.
I used to colour the whole thing.
I hate the scratchy
Just to
things.
find the pattern. Hey. Lizzie has her first sip of coffee and suddenly she thinks she's all hard. What do you have to say about that, Victoria?
What was that? Go away.
Ypres or Ypres or whatever you feel like calling it. Ypres.
Goodbye.
Bye, England. We are on the coach and it is a stupid time in the morning.
We're under the water.
It's 7:51. We haven't moved yet
Why have we been here so long then?
because it takes a long time.
To do what?
I can hear.
What are you watching? Scooby-Doo.
Simpsons.
Oh, I thought it was Scooby-Doo.
No.
You're just showing my boobs, not my face. I'm very It's lightning.
It wasn't. It's the
Lightning.
it's the popular people. What? Are you happy we're out?
Yeah.
Can't see you, but you know.
So beautiful.
Off the train. There's poppies all along the side of the road.
It's so sad.
It's so cute. And in the middle of crops, there'll be random poppies, which is really sweet.
So pretty.
Yeah, France and Belgium are beautiful. Impressive.
We're nearly there.
Nearly.
Are we? How much
Yeah.
longer?
Like 10 minutes. Press the E. If I put that against the wall, it can hear it.
E. You know what? I take everything back. Rachel's gonna kill.
Listening to the wall. Listen to the wall. Press the E and listen. See? This is kind of astonishing.
57,000 graves here. That's
And we have to search all of them.
Wait,
Henry Spinney. All these graves are decorated with the emblem of their country. So Australian here, we've got what, like Scotland I think maybe, Australian again, Egypt. Then you have this one, which is a German one because they mourn their dead in a different way. They mourn their dead. So we celebrate their lives, but then the Germans mourn their dead. So their gravestones are very plain and respectful.
well done.
It's very sad how all the German ones are plain and segregated from the other ones which are all decorated. So these people here were 100 years ago today.
That's the day they died.
That's mad. From that one all the way up until that one, that was 100 years ago today.
Guys, these people died
100 years ago today. Yep.
We're just coming up to Sanctuary Wood, which is also known as Hill 62, because it's 62 metres above sea level. This part of the Western Front was actually defended mainly by Canadians. So the trees you will see down this road are maple trees in honour of the Canadians. And at the end of this road there is a really rather beautiful Canadian memorial from which you can see how important the high ground was that the Germans were defending and that the Allied forces were trying to reach. And you can actually see Ypres in the distance. So once we've been in the trenches, we'll walk up to the Canadian Memorial, just for the purposes of seeing it anyway, but also because it's got a very good view of the salient. Okay, thank you.
trenches, lads. Oh, this is quite creepy. I feel like a spider's going to drop on my head.
Are you filming? No, I'm just taking a photo. It's kind of
Hannah.
You're holding it just right.
Hannah.
It's all reaction at the end. I've never been somewhere
Hey. Hey, Hannah.
Hello. And you're going to be hit by a bullet. I know. So you have to do this.
You have to go down.
You squat and do it. You've got to like, run like this. And these things would have water as well.
Yeah, and both.
You have to walk. They would have had to walk. So
Uh-uh.
your head's on display, you're dead.
No.
You have to
walk
squat.
like this. You don't squat. You go like.
On the website, I can see down on you, Hannah. Now I really am taller than you.
Rhiannon, you shouldn't be happy in a trench.
Wait, smiling because you look really pretty then.
Oh yeah, everybody's smiling.
I took a photo of you. It's so muddy in this tunnel.
I literally just got a video of your arm.
Yeah, same. Oh, there's like wires and stuff.
Oh, that's dirty.
I don't want to touch the edges.
I'm walking either side. Wow! Oh, no, my back.
Oh, I nearly hit my head.
Here we go. We are trenching around. Happy days. Look, this is where someone would sleep. Under here, in some shelter. Oh, don't roll your ankle. It's not a very good idea. My name is Farmer Joe. Farmer Joe. Yes.
Sorry to spit on my head. Oh, that was horrible.
Right. So we are at the 63 hill, because it's 63 metres, because it's what it says on the sign, and it's 63 metres above sea level. This is a Canadian memorial because the Canadians fought over on, this is where the Germans were up here, and then down there is a ridge, over down there, and there's some woods, and in those woods is where the Canadians were, and here is where the Germans were, and they were fighting. And the Canadians eventually won, so this is a Canadian memorial. And as you come up the road, all of the trees are maple trees, because of course the national plant. That's what she said. Because Miss Reeseboss said it, and because the national plant of Canada is maple.
When did she
It's like
say
a maple
that?
tree. Miss Reeseboss on the bus.
Oh, is she on the bus? I'm not on
No,
the
she's
bus,
not.
that's why.
11,871 graves, and along the back of the cemetery there's a memorial wall that commemorates 35,000 men whose bodies were never found. The reason why the cemetery is where it is because it saw some of the fiercest fighting in the Third Battle of Ypres, which was in 1917. We're coming in the back of the cemetery, which you can see here. There's a big marble memorial here at the top. You'll notice that there are two of these, and you'll notice that on the top of these, because the fighting was so severe here, rather than putting a lion, which they put on top of the Menin Gate, they put two weeping angels. So have a look at those. This is the wall at the back. When we go through, you'll see the cemetery, and then in front of the cemetery you'll be able to look down onto Ypres, so you can see why the Germans fought so hard to keep this position. The other thing that you should know, that it's got a rather strange name. The reason why it was called Tyne Cot was because the Northumberland Fusiliers, well for Mrs. Wells, actually fought very hard here, and the Germans had built some concrete blockhouses above the ground because the ground was so wet. They built them above the ground, and the Northumberland Fusiliers thought they looked a little bit like the Tyneside cottages from home, so it reminded them of that.
Meg's like, get out.
This is the biggest memorial in the world.
Yep, and that's when I'm going to get my 10 quid. Find it, I get 10 quid. So, no you don't.
I get 5 quid.
China.
Is that how many miles away it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw something like that.
Before we go into town, it's just down there. girls, can you listen up, please? We're going to have some time in the town after we've spent a little bit of time at the Menin Gate here that you can see just to your left. 55,000 names of soldiers whose bodies were never found are listed on this gate, which was the way that all the soldiers would have marched through.
So someone's last name is Kent, and they are in the West Kent section. That is what you call a peak last name.
I'm loving everyone trying to pronounce the sayings on my shirt. It's quite funny.
I got my Starbucks.
I'm about to get on the train. Oh, you can something in your face. I'm about to go on the train to go back.